Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar, where we sit down and talk with interesting professional guitar players, uncover their stories, and discover what makes them tick. If you love guitar, music, and the backstory of people's lives, stick around. You're in the right place. The Be Fulfilled Journal helps you be more honest with yourself and with others and be more open to handling things you've avoided dealing with for years. It's a 12-week online and journal program that helps you identify and eliminate things you do that are causing you stress and live in more gratitude and joy. It was actually developed by a long-term friend of mine who got sober in 2008, and he's put together a great deal just for my listeners. You get the 300-page hardcover journal and access to the 12-week video program online, plus free shipping, plus membership in a private Facebook support group with others going through the program, plus a 5-day mini course showing you how to let go of stuff that's draining your energy, plus a 30-day 100% money-back guarantee. To start your journey and get all the bonuses, go to BeFulfilledJournal.com/ELG. That's BeFulfilledJournal.com/ELG. For information about advertising on Everyone Loves Guitar, including information on geographically targeted ads, go to everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise. That's everyonelovesguitar.com/advertise.
Such a pleasure.
Hey everybody, this is Craig Garber. Welcome to Everyone Loves Guitar with the one and only Joey Landreth. And before we get started, I want to thank Ariel Posen and Bill Hines for pointing me into Joey's direction. You guys have definitely heard of Joey as part of the brothers Landreth. Joey's music's taken him around the world many times. As I said, his breakout project as one half of the Juno Award-winning roots rockers, the brothers Landreth, took a short break after their acclaimed album, Let It Lie, kept them on the road for 4 years. The time off afforded Joey the opportunity to tackle a new creative challenge, and in 2017, he released his debut solo album called Whiskey, which is a great record, and man, it's a beautiful song. The title song is beautiful. Whiskey was an extension of the brothers Landreth's brand of eclectic, lush, and deeply meaningful songs, but accentuated and amplified by Joey's dynamic guitar stylings. His new album called Hindsight comes out a month ago from the time you're listening to this, and Joey's going to be hitting the road with all of this new material. And he'll be touring, obviously, to support the new record. He's got some world-class musicians joining him for much of the upcoming album release, which includes solo and band dates all over the UK, Germany, Holland, Denmark, Canada, and the States, especially the northeastern U.S. The first single on the record is called Forgiveness. I'd encourage you to check it out, and we're going to talk about it today. Joey, thanks so much for your time, and I appreciate you coming on the show.
It is such a pleasure. Thanks for having me, Craig.
So the first question kind of dovetails what we were talking about. The first single, about your question about your first single, Whiskey. I thought it was a really beautiful song, but when I read the lyrics, I wasn't sure, was it a love song about a woman or about an alcoholic and his love of whiskey?
I mean, it's kind of a choose your own adventure. I like that. Art is subjective, man. So it's whatever you want it to be. But literally, to me, the song is kind of both. It kind of like it was. It came from at the time when I just like I mean, I should give a little preamble. I'm 4 years and a couple months sober, and at the time that I was kind of starting to think about getting sober, I was in a relationship that was kind of a mess, and so it was just like the messier things got, the more I drank, and the more I drank, the messier things got, and it just kind of like they kind of existed on the same plane.
Yeah.
And then it took, I mean, that relationship eventually ended, and then it took me another year and a bit to finally get to actually clean up and get sober. But I just kind of stumbled onto this idea one day. I was just playing guitar, and this idea, "Do you miss me, whiskey?" came to my head, which was kind of like, you know, my brother would say, like, that's a very obvious rhyme. He's a very well-read and very smart guy, much smarter than me. But it just kind of hit me in a way that was like, you know, I don't know that a lot of people would necessarily understand that unless you've had that kind of compulsion, that I had with booze. So it was just kind of like, and then just drawing on all the, when you're addicted to something, it feels very romantic. And I've been addicted to a whole bunch of different things, and it always kind of feels the same thing or the same way. It does feel like love. It feels like bad love, because like just the way that a bad relationship is kind of trying to kill you, so is an addiction. So it was kind of just sort of in a way both of those things. So it kind of talked a little bit. That song talks a little bit about the relationship, but it also talks about the substance abuse and just how, like I said, for me, literally they exist in the same place. But the song could be, it could just be about, it could just be about a girl or a guy. Yeah. Or it could be about booze. Choose your own adventure.
That's cool. It's funny, I've never talked to somebody that was in their addiction that said, man, I had this great relationship.
Yeah.
It's always like goes from bad to worse, man, when you're like in it.
Yeah.
Man. Well, thank you.
When I was a practicing alcoholic, things were great.
Right. You never hear that. Man, well, thank you for sharing that, and congratulations on getting sober, man. That's very cool.
Thank you.
Really happy for you, man. So in a sense, that was kind of like part of your like journey through recovery. I would imagine that song and all the shit that was going through your head along that way.
Mm-hmm, absolutely. I've kind of found like there is catharsis, and maybe this is obvious to a lot of people and I'm just kind of dumb, but there's an incredible amount of catharsis that comes from, trying to deliver your own music night after night. And like, for me as an alcoholic, I discovered kind of, right before I got sober, I had kind of had this realization that I was using alcohol and other substances, and I mean, food and cigarettes and whatever I could put in my body to hurt myself. I was using that to cover up pain that was in there that had nothing to do with booze or drinking or partying, but that's how I was dealing with the things that I was too afraid to look at face on. And what I found with touring and playing songs every night, and a lot of my songs are at least loosely based on real events. And so I just found like, man, I would sing these songs and I'd go back to this place of where I was when I wrote it, or a lyric would be inspired by an event. And so then I would sing that lyric and I'd go back to that place. And then I had no choice, because if I wanted to do my job properly and deliver my music, I had to get into it. You got to get your hands dirty. And so I'd have to take myself back, which is like, as an alcoholic, it's kind of hard to confront your emotions. Cause I think for a lot of us, addicts, that's why we have these problems, is because we're trying to suppress all this shit. And, so the process of songwriting and playing was really, really therapeutic for me, because I just go back to these places and remember what it felt like. And, sometimes I would remember all the stupid shit that I did. But through the process of writing songs and talking about it and feeling those things, it was I was able to kind of forgive myself for the things that I did and said and people that I had hurt. I kind of feel like I'm getting away from the question now, but
no, this is just be you, man. There's no fucking right answer here, man.
Yeah. So I just felt like that was it's a really, really really, really valuable thing about being able to go back to those places. You look at them, you have no choice. So yeah.
Well, thank you, man. So I knew somebody who got sober, and they said to me that someone told them early on, I think in their recovery, you use your substance is a solution to the problem that you're having of, handling emotions or processing things or coping with whatever. Mm-hmm. And then the solution becomes your new problem, so yeah. I think that lines up with kind of like what you're saying. Thanks, man. That was very cool.
Oh, hell yeah. And like you get so deep into that thinking that, and I've seen this in so many addicts. I know a lot of people who struggle with substance abuse, and they go, if I could just stop drinking, everything's going to be okay. And I've had this conversation with people like, listen, when you stop drinking, everything is going to get 10 times worse, but then it's going to get 100 times better.
Yeah.
But you open that door, and on the other side of the door is a whole bunch of other doors that you have to also open, and you have to walk through, and you have to walk through each and every one of them. Otherwise, I really don't know that it's possible to kick those compulsions, those addictions. You know, it is. That's an interesting way to look at it, though. The solution becomes the problem, because that's exactly right.
Man, what you just said is one of the most eloquent things I've ever heard anybody say about it. You said when you stop drinking, everything's going to get 10 times worse, but then it's going to get 100 times better. That is really like so incredibly well put, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that was great. Man, well, thank you. I really appreciate you sharing all that.
Absolutely.
Your new single, Forgiveness, again, was there like a specific incident where you had to forgive someone and it was tough, or was this like, I was really happy when you said, I forgave myself, because I think, you know, whether you're forgiving yourself for like indiscretions you as an addict or anything, I think that's a really tough thing. I've had to forgive myself for things I've done. Anything. It's really tough to do that, but it's so important.
Yeah, absolutely. I kind of like, I had this realization again, like on my sort of road to recovery, if I can use that sort of corny phrase.
No, it's good, man. That's like perfect.
I was reliving, like, and this is something that happens, I'm sure, to all addicts, where you have these moments of like total lucidity, and you go, oh my God, I remember that thing I did 8 years ago, and I said that thing to that girl, and I just want to go back there and tell her, like, fuck, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
You know? And what an idiot I am. And I was drunk and I was hurt, and and you start to beat up on yourself.
Oh yeah.
And a friend of mine was like, actually it was my brother, who was my best friend, but also my brother. And he said, listen, you have to remember that person that was doing all that stupid shit was hurt and was just doing the best that they could. The problem was it wasn't good enough. But you got to forgive yourself, because you got to look at yourself like, you know, if you're a parent and your kid does something stupid, you're not, you know, hopefully you're not going to hang that over their head for the rest of their lives. You're going to go, hey, listen, you made a mistake. You were coming from this place. That was the wrong place. Let's learn from this and move on. And I've kind of had to learn how to look at myself in my addiction as just this young guy who was just trying to figure it out. And the problem was he was doing a shitty job.
Yeah.
And he was hurting, and I just have to forgive that guy.
Yeah.
And like treat him with grace and forgive him, because I mean, I'm talking about this person like it's not me, it's me.
No, but you know what, the way
for that shit that I did.
But if you don't look at it like that, that's like the doorway to open up and do, I think, to make that forgiveness a lot easier.
Yeah, absolutely. And it did. It was like, I look back at that time, like, this is a person who had all kinds of confused emotional issues that and trauma that just never got dealt with properly, and was doing the best that he could to deal with it.
Yeah.
But it just was like, I just chose to go about it the wrong way. And thankfully, you know, I got sober when I was 27, 28 and 27. And I'm glad that I was able to get there at 27 and not 37 or 47.
Yeah, man.
You know, because I think I would have done a whole lot more damage. But the whole idea with forgiveness in that song was like, you know, looking at it as like, because the chorus is forgiveness, I need this, I wish I was strong enough to hold it. And I think that came from the realization that, like, in order to let go and forgive other people, you actually have to do it yourself. Yeah. Like, forgiveness is not actually about the person or the thing that has fucked you over. It's about you hanging on to something. Yeah. And in order to forgive, let's say, a person, you actually have to forgive yourself for getting hurt. Yeah. And like, and giving some forgiveness to someone does not necessarily mean that you're going to leave yourself open and vulnerable to get hurt again, but it just means that you can let it go. Yeah. And you can go, okay, listen, we can move forward, and I'm going to have to protect myself, but I can, we can continue on with our relationship, you know. So I mean, that's a remarkably less eloquent way to put it than the song does, I think. But that was the idea that I was sort of ruminating on when I wrote that tune.
It's a beautiful song, man.
Thanks. Thank you. Yeah, I like that one. If I'm allowed to like some of my own music.
You are, Joey, you may like your own music. You are forgiven, right, and you can do that.
Yes.
It's funny, man. You are very, your emotional communication through your songs, and it just talking to you is great. So I don't know what you were like, you know, pre getting sober, or maybe you were the same, and maybe you just had some wacky shit going on in your head like we all do from time to time. But man, you're like very crystal clear in your emotional and communication in general, man. So
thank you. Well, I mean, it's something that I've had to spend a lot of time reflecting on, because I like I said, like I realized in the process of getting sober that although I can't ever drink again, that much is clear. But my problem was always with the emotional stuff, and the booze was just the, like you've said before, it was just the solution that I tried.
Yeah, it's like the moderator.
Yeah. Shitty moderator.
Man, your dad is a musician. Did that? How did that help you or shape you musically? And were there any disadvantages of having a dad as a musician?
Interesting. You know, it helped me like an immeasurable amount. My parents are both really, really avid music fans. Like my mom was not a professional musician, but she is such a huge music fan. And so it was like there was always rehearsals happening at the house. There was always music on at the house. There were guitars and pianos and basses and instruments everywhere. You know, my first most poignant musical experience, and this is something that I kind of try to meditate on whenever I'm getting blocked, is my dad's buddy handed me a harmonica, and I loved music, and I'd, you know, as a little baby would walk up to the piano and smash away. And obviously, like, piano is a pretty complex beast, and so nothing that I managed to get out was ever musical. And then this guy handed me a harmonica, and then bam, there you go. You get a 1 chord and a 5 chord, and you're making music. And my mom said there was this moment, this light bulb went on in your head, and this beautiful sound came out, and then you were off. You were just out making music. So I'm always trying to channel that like childlike wonder.
Yeah,
you know, and it's not always possible to get there. But whenever I'm feeling like, man, you're thinking too hard about what notes you should be playing, or if you should sing a run or not, or if you should tell a story, you're thinking way too hard. You gotta remember that sort of bright-eyed kid moment where it's just like, holy shit, making music is amazing. So that was probably, you know, in hindsight, one of the most powerful moments, and that was handed down to me from my parents and my musician dad, for sure. I mean, disadvantages, probably, like, I don't think I ever stood a chance of not being a musician. That's probably the disadvantage. Is like, a buddy of mine is from central Saskatchewan, which is, you know, a lot of agriculture, lots of farmers, and his dad was a trick roper. So he'd rope cattle and, you know, on horseback and do all kinds of crazy tricks and shit. And he was like, you know, my dad really wanted me to follow in his footsteps. But instead, you know, I wanted to be a rock guitar player. I was like, that's funny, man, because my dad was wanting me to follow in his footsteps, and all I really wanted was a trick roper. But, you know, no, it's not true. But I always wanted to be a musician from when I was in kindergarten, and kids were like, I want to be a cop or a fireman. I wanted to be a musician. I wanted to play keyboards in a band.
So cool. Well, you know, it's interesting. Yeah. One of the questions people ask me a lot, is there a common thread amongst the players I interview? And I would say over 99% all had supportive parents to encourage them to be, you know, supportive, even if there was like dysfunction in the house, or if maybe mom was an addict or dad was an addict, or there was no money or whatever, but you had parents that were incredibly supportive of the musician's career. Again, over 99, maybe 2 or 3 people in 500 interviews have not. So that's it's really cool. When you made whiskey, did you learn anything in the making of that has allowed you to make hindsight a little easier or less stressful or less surprises?
Oh man, I learned so much in making whiskey. Whiskey was my first solo record, obviously, as you mentioned. And my brother is a bit of a business and administrative genius, as well as being a very, very wonderful musician. But so, the reason why that was an advantage was because in the early days of our business, my brother had a really strong finger on the pulse. He was our bookkeeper, he was our accountant, he was our manager. We shared, the booking agent job in the early days. And so when it came time to make whiskey, I was basically on my own. I mean, my brother was around to help out, and he played bass on it and everything, and was kind of giving me pointers like, hey, maybe you should try this. Maybe you should try this. We get a lot of government support in Canada. So it was like, we should try to apply for this grant. We should try to apply for that grant, that kind of thing.
That's incredible, man. That's really, how did he, I mean, I should probably ask him that, but how did he get like on top of all this?
My brother has just always been a very, you got a problem, I'll find your solution. And so he's really smart. He was always really academically inclined. And so it never dawned on him that something couldn't be done. Right. So it was like, if we need something that needs to get done, it's not that it's impossible. It's just that I have to go and do the research and figure out how. Okay. And, so he taught himself from scratch on the fucking internet, the basics of corporate accounting. And he went and took a meeting with an accountant with my mom a couple years ago, just to go and help her out. And at the end of the meeting, the accountant was like, "So David, where'd you get your certification?" David was like, "What do you mean?" He
thought he was like a chartered accountant or something.
Yeah, he thought he was a chartered accountant. He was like, "Man, I play bass in a fucking band."
That's awesome, man. You know what? Funny enough, that's how I started my career. I was a freaking CPA. Yeah, that was a long time ago, but yeah, weird. So that's really funny, man. Good for him, man. But I think one of the things that, when you guys came up in an age where you didn't have sort of like big labels providing you all this service. And it sounds like because of like the way your brother is as far as aptitude wise and just attitude wise, that it was, if it's meant to be, it's up to me sort of thing. And he just took it over.
Yeah. Well, and we actually just in the last couple of weeks, we've launched our own publishing company and record label.
Great.
Because it's like we live in a world right now where, it's interesting because this whole streaming thing has kind of sent everybody into a tailspin sort of, but despite the fact that basically Spotify and Apple Music and everybody is giving away our music for free, which is kind of a drag. But the one thing that it's done is it's taken all the teeth out of these major labels. And so I really feel like people are able to be so much more artful and be in control of their record, and I had a meeting with a label exec a little while ago, and he was like, looking forward to working on this next project with you, your next record. I want to talk about the songs. And I was able to go, no, we're not going to talk about the songs. Yeah. I'm going to deliver the record, and I'm going to deliver the record that I want to make in the way that I want to make it. And you guys have committed to give this much money. I don't want to have this conversation about how I need to write a song that sounds like Chicken Fried. And then I can just like go back to making this sort of floaty, spacey, guitar-y music that I want to make. Fuck that.
Good because for you.
I don't, all I need is enough money to pay my rent and pay my grocery bill. That's all I want. I don't give a fuck about being super rich or famous. So I would rather make music that to me has integrity than is going to earn me a whole bunch of money. I'm good with my dough. I save. I'm going to be okay. So we live in this time where we actually can take control. And if you're not afraid to double, triple, or quadruple your workload, you can run your own business. And that's like, you go back 20, 30 years or even less, to be honest, through history, and like musicians, writers, they're all getting fucked so bad.
Absolutely.
And I mean, like, obviously circumstances were different, and like you think about the sort of Chess Records days and like, Muddy Waters and all that, them giving him a Cadillac and being like, no, that's your advance. And him going, well, I can't live off a Cadillac. And they go, well, too bad.
Yeah.
And obviously that was like, the circumstances, people were a whole lot less educated back then. They didn't think they could do it on their own. And now it's just like, man, you can just take control. So we were I was about to sign a record deal, a really, really great record deal that was super artist friendly, gave me all the creative control, was on across the board a great record deal. But the way record deals work nowadays is for whatever. Well, I'm sure. I mean, there's a million different ones, but sort of different models for a contract. But the way this one was working and is really common is in all the territories that they were going to represent, they were going to keep 50% of the take, and it's really, really standard. It was like
that's actually good.
Yeah, it is.
That's good. It's standard, but it's good standard.
But so now, because I'm not a big name artist who, who's going to get all the attention in the world from their label reps, it means like, yes, they're going to commit X amount of dollars to the marketing plan and to the PR and stuff. But we always, like myself, well, my manager mostly, is always having to go, hey guys, don't forget you said you'd spend this money on marketing. Don't forget you said you get it out by then. So my manager Stu came to me one day and was like, I got this crazy idea. We've worked out this deal for our publishing company through a major label to handle distribution and stuff like that, and just sort of like help out with marketing, and we basically got all the infrastructure in place to build our own record label. How about instead of parting with 50% of the profit at the end of the day, how about we just start our own business? We do all the work ourselves, which is going to be hard, but nobody's going to pay attention to your release more than us.
Absolutely.
Nobody's going to dedicate themselves. And instead of taking 50%, let's take 15%. And there's no term to the contract. So if, some major label comes out of the woodworks and loves the record and wants to pick it up, then there's no masters being held in perpetuity. There's not, so we're kind of like, and we're not the first sort of small label to do this kind of thing, but we're just like, the whole industry is changing. And like it or not, it's kind of because of streaming. And like I said before, I'd love to see streaming royalties raised significantly, but what it has done is it's given us all control back. And so, let's just keep what little money there is. Let's keep it at home. And,
well, what I think is a really smart thing there is by starting your own publishing company and record label, you have a very fixed niche, and it's warm and inviting to listeners and to other musicians. So I would guarantee with 100% certainty that you can attract others to be on your label, and then you'll work out a fair deal with them. And, it doesn't happen overnight. It happens over time, but you get a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Maybe you have 20, 30 artists over a period of 5 to 8 years. Yeah. You've built something substantial for yourself and you're treating them fairly. So that's a really smart
100%.
Way to go.
100%.
Yeah, that's a really smart way to go. I'm happy for you guys, man.
And why, and I realize, like, you look at major labels and they've got like hundreds of people on staff who are being paid livable salaries. They may not all be making 6 figures, but I guarantee you everybody's making more fucking money than me. And so that was like, I don't need much. I've spent my entire career learning how to live off of next to nothing.
Yeah.
And now I'm actually making more money than I ever have in my life. And it's laughable compared to what your average person makes in their daily sort of life. But, I don't need a 6-figure salary to live. And if we build this label up a little bit, it's not going to pay me thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars a year. But, the way that the industry is now, we all need sort of multiple streams of income. And that's just the way it works. And it's like, it's a drag because nobody gets to wear their sunglasses inside anymore and just be a fucking rock star. You actually have to be responsible and, hang on to your receipts and, settle your shows properly at the end of the night. You have to do all that work yourself, but we've never had more control. And it's kind of we're kind of on the frontier of a new music industry, and I think it's really fucking great.
Yeah, but and kudos to you guys for taking instead of like saying, "Oh my God, what are we going to do?" You're going to have the same issue. You might as well take control of it and learn and do the things that you're doing exactly what you said.
Oh yeah,
so I think it's great.
And at the end of the day, when things go fucking sideways, which they definitely will in one way or another, then we don't have to call up the label and go, "Who fucked this?"
Yeah.
We can go, "Joe, was that you?" "Yeah, that was me." Okay. All right. Okay. Well, we'll make sure not to do that again. And that's and then, but we own our failures, but we also own the wins too. So.
And that's just part of being an entrepreneur, man. I've worked for myself for a little over 20 years. You're going to have good times and bad times. And every entrepreneur wants to have side hustles and plan Bs. And that's just the way it is. So you're just living it, you're owning 100%. It now. Well, yeah, congratulations, 100%. Man. I'm real happy for you guys.
Thanks.
Okay. Tuition. What are maybe, everybody makes mistakes in their careers early on. Is there anything, one or two things you might have done that, lessons learned along the way and what you got out of the mistakes that you made?
Oh my God. So many.
No, that's a normal answer. I had somebody one time said, no. And you know what? It was such a like so insincere. I didn't even challenge it. I was just like, okay. Whatever.
Nobody's going to buy that, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to let that be on you and let that hang on you. I don't even want to fix you. Save that. It was just too. Anyway. Yeah,
well, honestly, if that's your answer, you're fucked.
Yeah, I mean, right. Way beyond. Right. Yeah, I'm like, okay, let me let that lay.
Ubar, man. Beyond repair.
Totally.
You know what? Man, like the first thing that came to mind was I wish I would have drank more water in the early days. I would have gotten through a lot more shows. I don't know. I struggled with my voice a lot. Obviously, I was partying like an animal, so that was a big part of it. But just
do you drink a lot now? No, well, obviously it must be important. For you.
Yeah, I try to. Yeah. I try to drink a whole lot more water. That's such a boring answer. But you know what? I wouldn't say that this is necessarily a mistake because it was just the process that it took to sort of connect with my own sort of artistry. But it took me a while to realize that that being genuine, was the key to connecting with an audience. And it doesn't necessarily mean, it's going to look different for everybody. But in the early days, some of my favorite artists, not just guitar players, but artists are, Derek Trucks and Doyle Bramhall. And those motherfuckers are the coolest people on the planet. I met both of them a couple times, just very briefly, and just tried not to embarrass myself. But, and they're both pretty quiet. They're both super fucking cool. They don't say a whole lot. I'm a bit of a blabbermouth. I'm kind of awkward. I'm a goof. I have a really stupid sense of humor sometimes that just there's nothing but puns and dad jokes. I am not cool the way Doyle Bramhall is cool. And it took me the better part of my career so far to figure out that that's the thing that I have to embrace. Yeah. I can walk on stage and just be me. And that's what's going to allow people to connect with me. Whereas, when Doyle walks on stage, you connect with Doyle. That's who Doyle is.
Yeah.
He's, that's the key. That's the secret. And it took me a while to I went out on tour with this great singer-songwriter, a good friend of mine named Donovan Woods, who's a beautiful songwriter. And he is fucking hilarious. He writes these really, really sad songs, but he is really, really funny. And so I got to tour with him for 6 weeks. And in the process, I kind of, stole some of his sort of gigs and
that's cool.
Not his gigs, but I stole some of his
lines,
mannerisms and a couple of his punchlines and stuff. And, my manager was like, I definitely can tell you've been hanging out with Don. And that wasn't me either, but it helped get me closer to who I was, which is just I'm just this guy, I'm just a fucking guy. I love to play guitar. I love to talk about pedals. I love to write songs about my life. This is who I am. Good. And So like I said, that it's not necessarily a mistake, but it would be fun to see where I'd be at now if I'd have learned that a little earlier on. If I wasn't trying so hard to be something that I wasn't. I think, but again, that's just part of the process.
Yeah, that's just totally part of the process, man. You're doing a great. I mean, honestly, I'm not a guy that blows smoke up anybody's ass, but you're doing great. I mean, you're you, man, right now. So that's,
thank you, Greg. I appreciate that.
Very easily to see that, man. So I think everybody in any. I mean, I've done a bunch of different projects over my life, and I have to, even in this show in the beginning, I had to figure out what but the thing is, once you're like, I was old, of course I'm much older than you, but you get to a point, you're like, I can't even be, the energy it takes to be myself is overwhelming. I could never even think about doing like being somebody else. Yeah. I'm like, I can barely be me on some fucking days because it's so much going on or just whatever. But so it's just, I'm like, I surrender, it's it. That's it. If it's okay, great. If it's not, that's okay. I too, I mean,
it's funny, man. We live in a world that's always trying to tell us that we're not good enough, which is just what it is. I mean, and that's always going to be a thing. Doesn't matter. I think people would love to blame it on millennials and social media and whatever. But the reality is that's how it's always been. That's how it's always going to be. Yeah. We are these social creatures that compare ourselves to the other apes. You know what I mean? Yeah. And so
absolutely.
But the beauty in it is just like accepting who you are and just allowing yourself to be that person. That's when you're going to shine. I mean, in the early days, we had like a catalog full of mid-tempo, sad breakup songs. That's all we had. And we basically made a record out of those tunes. And it was our dear friend Murray Pulver who produced the record. And I sat down with him one day and was like, man, we don't have any bangers really on this record. We have one or two, but we've got all these mellow tunes. And he was like, man, this is who you guys are. This is the sound you make when you and your brother write songs together. This is what happens. And if you just own it,
right,
it's not going to resonate with everybody. So the name of the game is not making music that's going to please everyone, but making the music that is true to who you are, is genuine, and then just going out and doing the hard work of finding the people who love it.
Finding the people who do like it. Absolutely. Man, I've been running a marketing company 20 years. That's exactly what you do. Not everybody wants to buy X. You just find the ones that do want to buy X, and tell them why your X is better.
Exactly. And if you're chasing that around, you're going to fail.
100%.
It's like when Jason Aldean came out with heavy metal country music, everybody bought it because he fucking meant it. Because that's who he is. That's who he is. Yeah. He's a redneck who liked country music and heavy metal, and he put them together. But then everybody started doing it, and nobody else did as well with it because it wasn't who they were. Yeah. That's who Jason Aldean was at that time. That's why it made sense. I mean, that's not my favorite kind of music, but it's genuine. You can tell that's who that fucking guy is, like it or not. And that's what I found was like we'd write these tunes, we'd write these like more commercial sort of country leaning songs. We get up on stage and I didn't like playing them. Our audience didn't like listening to them. Nobody connected. It was like we'd finish the song and people would be like, yeah, cool. But then we play one of our own songs, mid-tempo, almost ballad, sad breakup song, and people would be like, that's my favorite song. I connect with that song so much. And you go, well, okay. I surrender. Then I'm just gonna do that thing.
Again, man, credit to you for figuring this all out at such a young age, because I think a lot of people, including myself, took a lot longer to figure that out. So you're
I had a lot of people helping us. Yeah, we had a lot of people helping us along.
That's great. Well, it's working. You're an excellent slide player. So I was curious what prompted you to pursue that, because as you know, it's not common. There's not, and then now you got two of you guys in the band in the Brothers Landreth that are great slide players. But is there anything like in particular? So what made you pursue it, and is there anything in particular that allowed you to get good at slide?
Well, I grew up. My dad has always been a big fan of slide players. There's a lot of Bonnie Raitt and Ry Cooder, a ton of Lowell George, like through Little Feat in the solo record. So that was in the house, and I shied away from it because Sonny Landreth exists, and it was like I have the same last name as this guy. There's no point in ever trying.
Right. Oh, did people think that you guys were?
What's that?
Did people think you guys were related?
All the time. People ask like, so, must have been a fun way to grow up with Sonny Landreth as your dad. Like, that guy lives in Louisiana. I live in Winnipeg, Canada. Do you know how fucking far these places are away? That's obviously not the answer that I ever give to people. Like, no, he's not my dad. But in my head, I'm just like, look on a fucking map.
Man, that's Americans for you, though, man. There's no, to be honest, that's just our America's.
I love you guys. I love Americans. I have a lot of beautiful American friends. I do not understand why you guys are so geographically challenged.
Ethnocentricity.
It boggles my mind. I've never met more people without passports than Americans. It's crazy. But I say all those things with nothing but love. But
no, it's true though, man. It's very true.
Funny. It's pretty funny. But yeah, so there's a lot of slide players in our record pile at home, and I did deliberately try not to. I just was kind of like I didn't really feel like I was coming by it honestly, and it didn't connect with me. And then somebody lent me the Derek Trucks Songlines DVD, and he was doing all that Sacred Steel stuff, which I'd never heard before. And through his music, got introduced to like Aubrey Gent and then his son AJ Gent and Chuck Campbell, Campbell Brothers, Slide Brothers. Anyway, and that was just like, oh my God, there is something so beautiful and spiritual about the way this person plays, and it just was kind of the thing that I was missing in my own playing, and I knew was missing, was like this connection to sort of the emotional.
Yeah,
it was like my playing before that was very cerebral and very thinky. I was really into sort of thinky music, which I mean, there's nothing wrong with. But I never really got out of that, like, here's a chord and then here's a scale. I never was really able to get out of that mentality. And then I started dabbling with the slide, and then I was just sort of like transfixed. I couldn't stop. And in terms of like working on it and playing, the only thing you can do is just do it.
Yeah.
It's an uncomfortable thing to do. Playing slide is weird. You basically lose a finger. It's heavy, even though they're not that heavy, but like you think about a weight hanging off your one finger. So it's, the best thing you can do is just get comfortable having it on your hand.
It's another thing to manage. That's what's tough. It's something else to manage now. And so it's like another moving part of playing guitar now.
Yeah.
Which makes it difficult. Yeah. Well, you sound great. You've done a great job with it.
Thank you.
Did you and your brother always play together, or did you guys ever play in separate bands?
We played together when we were teenagers in my dad's band. We were his backing band. And then when we graduated high school, we both went on tour with other folks. And then we spent probably 4 or 5 years touring with other people. And then sort of the story, the origin story of the Brothers Landreth was that we both kind of finished 2 super long tours. And the one that I came off of was really, really challenging. And it was like, man, I just need a side hustle that I can just sort of do my own thing. And we originally, like, there's a lot of little folk music festivals around Manitoba, southern Manitoba. There's ton of these little tiny festivals. And so it was like, it would just be fun to write a handful of acoustic tunes, and just the two of us just go out and try to catch some gigs at these little folk festivals. Just sort of as a passion project in between sort of our day job gigs. And we started writing for that project, and it kind of immediately became clear that this is where we both wanted to be, what we both wanted to do. So yeah, it was kind of, it kind of just started there. But yeah, so we didn't play together for a handful of years. And my brother went off and toured the world with an indie band, and literally toured everywhere for a couple of years. And he was their tour manager. And yeah, So, and then we came together, and it was like within a year, we had both quit our other gigs, and we were focusing on the Brothers Landreth sort of full time.
It's a great story, man. It probably helped you guys being apart, learning things, and then being able to come back and combine what you've learned.
Oh yeah. Well, it was funny because my brother went off in the indie direction. So it was like, 6 people in one hotel room, and I was playing pop country. So it was like everybody gets their own hotel room. We're on a bus. I got a guy who tunes my guitars and changes my string. And so the first tour that we did as the Brothers Landreth, my brother was like, "Hey Joe, do you think you're gonna make it to load-in today? Because you've missed load-in for the past week." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, sorry man. Do you want to load in right when we get there?" And he's like, "Yes, we load the gear when we get to." So it was like I kind of came from this pampered world, and then of course I learned my lesson, because then we toured for 4 years with 5 guys in one hotel room, and So we ate our fair share of shit, but it was a bit of a learning curve for me at the beginning.
That's funny, man.
Yeah.
Hey man, let's talk about gear for a few minutes.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah. What's your go-to guitar right now, and what other 2 guitars would round out your top 3?
I have this gold top built by a dear friend of mine named Alex Sorokin, Sorokin, and
Canadian guy.
What's that? Yeah, Canadian guy up in Edmonton, and he builds the most, as far as I can tell, the most period correct. Like it's basically a 54 clone, and he is the geekiest witch doctor when it comes to the paint recipe that he uses for the gold top, and the pickups that are in it are throwback pickups that were wound on the same machine, because the guitar that I'm playing is based off of a 54 that I played at Carter Vintage
Sure.
a year or 2 ago. And
so it's P90s.
So P90s, yeah. So the with the serial number, we were able to kind of loosely figure out which machine the pickups were wound on, because the throwback guys have all those Kalamazoo pickup machines, they're pickup winders, and so we're like about 99% sure that it was the same machine that wound those original pickups that wound the throwbacks that are in that guitar now. So it's a really cool guitar. It's got a great story.
I've got to ask
resonant
you a question.
As hell. And then what's that?
I got to ask you a question. So I'm looking to get. So you see that Les Paul there? It's those It's a classic. Those pickups are way too hot. I'm a blues guy. It's like 500 T and 498, and it's like for metal shit. So I'm looking for like PAFs, and somebody had mentioned to me throwback. So I was curious if you knew. Someone mentioned the throwback SLE 101s.
Yep, that's what's in my callings that I really really love.
Okay, which call is it? The I-35, or is that okay? Yeah.
Those are super dope.
Everybody loves those that plays them. Okay, so it's the throwbacks. Okay, sorry about that. So you have the gold top by Alex Sorokin is number 1. What would be number 2?
I don't really have like a number 1 or 2 or 3. I've got 4 guitars that I kind of go back and forth between. So I've got the gold top. I've got the Collings. I've got a Josh Williams, sort of 335 style. The Collings is a bit of a smaller body. Mm-hmm. It's not quite the full, but the Josh Williams is it's a hummingbird, I think. No, not hummingbird. I'm sorry, Josh. I can't remember the model of the guitar, but it's gorgeous. It's got Firebird pickups in it. It's really cool.
Is he another Canadian? Is he a Canadian builder also?
No, Josh is in California. He's in SoCal. Yeah. I got a Sur Classic S.
Okay.
I actually have two of those, which are really, really, really killer. One of them's got a Telly pickup in the bridge, like Lowell George's guitar. So that guitar comes out a lot.
Is that the surf? Is that the one surf green with a rosewood? Or ebony?
No, that's the first Sur that I got. This one is the Lowell George one is blonde.
Okay.
Sort of Olympic white. Yeah.
I love that green one that faded. You have.
Oh yeah, it's awesome.
It's beautiful.
They're killer guitars. I've got some really, really. I'm very, very, very fortunate to have the instruments that I have. But yeah, so those are kind of the main. I guess that's actually more like 5 or 6. Oh, and Mule Resonators makes these crazy steel guitars, steel telly shaped steel electrics, and I use that all over the new record. So that comes out on the road when I've got room for the extra guitars. Normally I mean, when I can afford the extra baggage fees, I bring a whole bunch of guitars. But when I'm trying to sort of be light and tight, I'll just throw a guitar in a gig bag and hope to God I don't break any strings. I don't generally break strings though, so it's fine.
And which one would you throw in usually? Is it the Gold Top, or is it the Sir?
The Gold Top is the one that I take around the most these days. Yeah. But it totally varies. For a long time, the Collings was the number one in the case. And then before that was the Surf Green Classic S. So it just sort of depends on the mood that I'm in these days.
And when you play slide, you play that on the same guitar that you're playing?
Yeah. So I play an open C all the time, which is the same tuning, the same intervals as open E.
Wait a minute, so you're always in open C even when you're not playing slide?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay. That's some next level shit that I can't.
I'm just too stupid to be able to flip back and forth.
I wouldn't call you stupid, man. You're playing an open C all the time. You're on top of something that's pretty cool.
Well, thanks. I don't know. I guess I have enough time on my hands.
No, man, that's some ninja stuff that you're doing. That's awesome, man. I mean, and it sounds great.
Thank you.
Anybody that influences your playing that people might be surprised to hear?
Well, I mean, my influences are like my first hero was Stevie Ray, Jimmy Vaughn as well, the Vaughn brothers, Robin Ford, Ry Cooder, Bonnie Raitt, Lowell George. I really love Stevie Wonder. I mean, I don't think I particularly sound like him when I sing, but I just I love his music. Donny Hathaway. Yeah, I don't know.
Very cool. Do you remember the first CD you ever purchased?
I don't remember the first CD I ever purchased, but the first tape I ever bought was Michael Jackson Bad. That's funny.
Many guys like in your age bracket bought a Michael Jackson record or like have that record in there. Right?
I don't know why, but I was just like, yeah, I want that record.
Desert Island Discs, man. No particular order, and just for now.
Oh, Lowell George, Thanks, I'll Eat It Here. Bonnie Raitt, Nick of Time. Blake Mills, Hi Ho or Hey Ho, however you say that. Bruce Hornsby, the one that has White Wheeled Limousine on it. Oh, and then there's this Ahmad Jamal, is this great jazz piano player.
Yeah, sure.
And there's a greatest hits that has like 117 songs on it or something like that on Spotify. Yeah, wow. I would take that too.
You know, it's funny. I interviewed a guy.
Sonny Rollins live at the Village Vanguard.
Yeah,
also,
that's a good record.
Yeah.
So you have like pretty wide taste.
I just love anything that's fucking awesome. He says, tooting his own horn. That sounded super arrogant.
No, man.
When something is awesome, I can't help but love it. Oh, Keith Jarrett, his recording of the Bach book, the Well-Tempered Clavier.
Yeah.
He just basically plays through that whole Bach prelude book and just plays it unbelievably gorgeously. If you want like a university crash course in harmony, just have a listen to that stuff.
A couple of people have named that record over the last few years.
Oh, it's so good.
It's funny. I interviewed a guy named George Marinelli. I don't know if you know George.
Yeah.
So he
plays with Bonnie.
But do you know he played with Bruce Hornsby?
Did he really?
He was in the original band.
Holy shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I don't know him personally. I met him a couple times, but
pretty wild. Yeah. He was in Bruce's original band, and then he's been with Bonnie for like maybe 20 years now. Quite a long time.
Yeah, very long time.
All right, man. So now the questions get deep. Although, man, the way we opened, this will be a breeze for you, bro. Tough question. What do you like most about yourself?
Oh shit.
That's a tough question.
Nothing. No. You know, I really like my work ethic. I'm really kind of proud of that. Of just like it's definitely a passion. You know, I love to work hard. I'm very proud of how hard I work on stuff. If I'm just being totally honest.
That's great. Flip side, if there's one thing you could change about yourself, what would that be?
One thing I would change. Geez. Wish I didn't eat so much junk food.
You know what's funny? What the hell were you munching on before? It was like getting me hungry. I was watching. It looks like you were enjoying whatever those like pistachio. I don't know what you were eating.
The almonds, just almonds.
Oh, that's not junk food.
No, almonds are definitely not junk food. That was a huge in Canada, especially central Canada where I'm at. All the rednecks drive really huge trucks. So if you could hear that truck go by, that was a Canadian redneck. Yeah, representing. Yeah, I think. I mean, the reality is food is kind of my last sort of addiction. Yeah. I love sweets, and of all the things that I have been addicted to in the past, to be addicted to kind of candy bars is not so bad.
No, but, hell no. And you're like not like overweight. You're in great shape. You look like fit and shit. So I wouldn't like worry about that.
I have to work pretty hard to like, I go to the gym fairly frequently to sort of allow myself to eat the amount of shit that I do.
Good for you, man. Hey, that's a great excuse to get to the gym, you know?
It is. Yeah. I go and work out and burn like 1,200 calories, and then I can eat as many chocolate bars as I want.
Good for you. I have to go to the gym just to like eat, 80 grams of carbs a day. So I mean, I'd rather be in your position than mine.
Well, what can I say? I've got a zippy metabolism. It's all these years of living off of truck food, I guess. But.
Awesome. Yeah, any non-musical super?
I don't know. There's definitely other things that I change about myself, but nothing is abundantly jumping out. I'll probably come up with it later. You can edit it in later. Joey says that he wishes he wasn't such a prick.
Any non-musical superpowers?
Any non-musical superpowers? I'm pretty good at skipping rope.
Oh, that's cool. You do that in the gym? That's a hell of a workout, man. Holy crap.
Oh, it is monstrous. Yeah.
Wow. Do you box or something? Because that's usually...
I do, yeah.
Really? Holy shit. Yeah. I'm smelling Plan C here. Joey Landreth, 5 minute 5 minute abs or something like that.
I don't know. I'll teach you how to get the 5 minute kegger. Not a 6-pack.
Oh, man. And you said, you mentioned your wife earlier. How long have you been married?
We got married in October.
Dude, congratulations. Holy crap.
Thank you.
Wow, that's really nice.
Yeah.
Very cool, man. So you're newlyweds. That's very cool. Congratulations on
that. We
are.
Man.
Yeah. Hope you got many fun years together. Very nice, man.
We've had 6 great years already, and I'm looking forward to the rest of them. So
that's really cool. That's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
she's awesome.
Do you have any hobbies outside of music?
Hobbies outside of music. I mean, I do like fitness oriented stuff. I like to run. I love to ride my bike. I like to box. I like to cook. I'm not very good at it. I like to cook.
Awesome, man. 2 more questions. Toughest decision you've ever had to make, or most difficult thing you've had to do?
Oh man. God. Well, getting sober was really hard. Getting sober was really, really hard. Yeah, and running a business has all kinds of challenges. You got to let people go from time to time. Like firing a publicist, shit like that it's not the hardest choice to make, but it's very hard stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting sober was probably the biggest challenge in my life, and it's just because the effects, the aftermath of it is sort of ongoing, always having to.
Well, you're getting sober every day. You got to get sober every day almost.
You do.
Yeah.
You got to stay sober every day.
Right.
And you got to, and you don't get to wake up ever again not as an alcoholic,
Yeah.
or a drug addict or whatever it is you're addicted to. Like every morning I have to wake up and remember, like, what got me into trouble was not dealing with my shit, not sharing, not being vulnerable. So I have to remember to do that today. And that's probably the hardest,
Sure, man.
like remembering to check in with my wife. Hey, just so you know, this is where I'm at.
Yeah.
I'm having a hard day, or I woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or my to-do list is getting away from me and it's stressing me out.
Yeah.
And I have to remember, like, those are the kind of things that I think also, like, as men, we struggle with. Like, it's not cool or strong to go, hey, I need help. But
totally.
But it is actually the fucking most manliest thing you could do, to just be like, hey, I need some support. But
that connection,
manly's the wrong word, but
no, but when you do that connection is like, man, like I was in the gym. My wife and I go to the same gym around the same time. We don't work out together or anything, and I walked in there and I saw her. She goes, "Hey, how you doing?" And I said, "Man, I'm having a really shitty day. I feel like crap, and here's why." And she said, she turned around to me. She goes, "Well, that's okay, honey. We're in this together. We'll talk about it later." And I was just like, I felt like $1 million to be. I was like, oh my God, 26 years later, and she's like that nice to me. I was like, I mean,
it's funny that it doesn't register to you, because I mean, like, I think your experience is probably similar to mine. Like, I grew up. My dad was great, and he was really, really open-minded, and really, but it wasn't like, it wasn't necessarily like, hey, let's sit down and have a talk about our feelings. There wasn't a whole lot of that.
Yeah.
But
no, I had none of that.
And his dad, was a World War II vet. And so he was a wonderful, loving man, but he had some fucking skeletons in his closet too.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's just like this sort of innate, sort of, well,
you want to fix it yourself.
On our own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
And it's crazy that when you're like, oh man, to your wife or your friend or your business partner, like, man, I'm just having a tough day today. Like, oh, what's going on? Oh, this and this and this. Oh, fuck, I feel better. Why is that so hard to do?
I know. I know. But it's funny you said that, because now my wife is on the other flip side. She's like going through menopause, right? And she'll be like,
right,
hey, I just want you to know I fucking hate you today, but it has nothing to do with you. It's just menopause. I'm like, okay, that's all,
My body's turning inside out.
Yeah, so. I don't know if it's like a warning or just like checking in, but I'm like, really, it's like, okay, hun, so I'm like, I'm good with that. I'd rather you tell me that than like just tear me an asshole because I said hello or something. So it's just an evolving.
Hey, babe, fuck you.
Yeah, right. So this, right. It's just an evolving. This shit's always going back and forth, man, the whole time. And man, last question. And I've really enjoyed talking to you, man. You are a class act, and you really are doing a great job with your life.
Thank you, Greg. I appreciate it, man. Biggest
change in your personality over the last 5 years, Joey, and how much of that has been deliberate and how much is just a part of aging? And since you're probably going to have something to do with sobriety, maybe the biggest change, if you want to talk about that, between sober Joey and not sober Joey.
Sober Joey and not sober Joey. You know what? It just like we talked kind of earlier on, allowing myself to be myself, and being like, it is kind of cliche, but being able to sort of love and appreciate what the things that make me who I am, which are often the things that you hate the most about yourself. Yeah. Because it's the thing that makes you different from, so-and-so that you maybe admire. Yeah. And so I think that's probably the biggest change, and definitely sobriety has been, I've been able to, when I was drinking, I was never sober. So I was never fully able to look at those things, and in the process of getting sober, and then I was, I had no choice. I was forced to look at those things and go, okay, either I'm going to fight this, or I'm going to accept it, and I'm going to move on, and I'm going to change. And that's something that is really hard to do, you know, it's like, it kind of lives in a similar place as taking criticism when somebody goes, hey, I really like what you're doing, but maybe you should try this. And you kind of want to go like, don't fucking tell me what to do. You know, but then oftentimes it's like, hey, shit, that's a good idea. Yeah. I'm going to do that. Or I don't think I'm going to do that, but that reminds me, maybe I should do this instead. You know, like you got to be open. So that's the biggest change. That's the biggest change is just sort of allowing myself to be who I am and forgiving myself for being who I am too.
Man, I'll tell you, I'm so happy for you that you got sober, that things are going well for you. I don't know you, so this sounds awkward, but I'm proud of you, proud for you, and for the things you've accomplished and what you're going to do. I wish you tons of luck with everything, man. Your sobriety and your relationship and your career, and anything I can do to help you, just don't hesitate to reach out.
Thank you so much. That means the world. I really appreciate that.
Let me tell people where to find you and what's going on. The new record is Hindsight. It came out about a month ago from the time you're listening to this. Please check it out. I listened to the new single. It is Forgiveness. It's a beautiful, beautiful song, man. And if you like Joey stuff in general, you're gonna love this record. Joey is going to be touring around, for those of you outside of the States, England, Germany, Holland, Denmark, and even Canada. And,
that's right. And Ireland too.
And Ireland, awesome. Everybody loves Ireland, by the way.
Finland. We're working on some other Scandinavian dates after that. So hopefully Sweden and Norway. Dude,
awesome. All over the Northern Europe. And afterwards, he's going to come to US and A in the Northeast. Right. You got dates where?
And end of June, we're looking at, nothing's confirmed or announced at this point in time. But those, by the time this airs, those dates should be up on my website and my social media. But end of June will be New York, possibly Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Nashville, not in that order, of course. A couple stops in Ohio, and then we're off to Finland for the very end of June.
Awesome, man. You ever come down to Florida?
We just started talking about coming down there with the brothers. So
dude, awesome.
We'll hit you up. Where are you in Florida?
Tampa.
Oh, dope. Yeah.
Awesome.
We did that radio thing in Ybor City. So we got to come back and follow up on that.
That would be awesome, man. And check out Joey on Facebook and Instagram. On Facebook, it's Joey Landreth Music. On Instagram, it's just Joey Landreth, Landreth. And your website is Brothers Landreth, or is it? There's
joeylandreth.com and there's the broslandreth.com as well.
So broslandreth.com and joeylandreth.com. Thank you, man. I really appreciate everything. Awesome talking to you.
Such a pleasure, Craig. Thanks for having me, man.
Everybody, thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed this, please share it on your socials. We appreciate your support. Thanks again to Joey Landreth for spending time with us. I really appreciate it. Please support Joey's music. Check out the new record, Hindsight, and check him out on tour. Tell him you heard him on the show, and that encourage and support his music because it's beautiful. Make sure you go to everyonelovesguitar.com. Sign up to get on our newsletter list so you and I can connect. And most important, remember that happiness is a choice, so choose wisely. Be nice, go play your guitar, and have fun. Till next time, peace and love, everybody. I'm out. We hope you enjoyed this show. If you did, subscribe to the Everyone Loves Guitar podcast, and you can do this online at everyonelovesguitar.com or on iTunes. And if you like the show, please leave us a 5-star positive review. The more 5-star reviews we get, the higher our show ranks, and higher rankings mean we get to continue speaking with cool, interesting guests on our show. We'll see you on the next episode, and until then, keep playing your guitar and have fun making music.